Okay. My name is Mareen and I work for Gnosis. Gnosis is a company which builds infrastructure for the Ethereum ecosystem, and one of them is the DutchX, which is a decentralized trading protocol. So the question here could be now how a decentralized trading protocol fits into the governance track, and the quite easy explanation is that the plan is to hand over the decentralized trading protocol to the community and let it govern by the community. So before I'm going into how the DutchX should be governed by the community, I shortly would introduce what the DutchX is. So the DutchX is a trading protocol for ERC20 tokens based on the Dutch auction mechanism. So what is different about the Dutch auction mechanism? It's not based on an order book. If we look at exchanges or decentralized exchanges, most of them are based on an order book model, which means they have continuous auctions and bids and sells come in, and then they're going to be matched. This often leads to discriminatory pricing, and they also have a lot of other disadvantages like front running, high frequency trading, overlapping of order books, which leads to arbitrage, and also big spread and high slippage. The Dutch auction, on the other hand, it's a batch auction based on the Dutch auction mechanism. So in case, let's say 10 people here in this room, they want to sell tokens, all those tokens would be collected into one pot, and then this pot would be sold together. And what happens is that this pot will be sold at a really, really high price, and then with time, this price will decrease. And people will put their bids at the time they think the price is right. And then after time, more and more people will place their bids, again at the time they think the price is right. And as soon as the whole volume is sold, there will be one single price clearing, so we have a true willingness to pay. So is our decentralized exchange better than others? We would say in general it's better, but mainly it's different. So some advantages of the DutchX mechanism are that there is no front running, it's less volatile, we have a fair price finding mechanism, it's suitable for low liquidity tokens, it provides a reliable on-chain price oracle, and enables decentralized listing for new token projects. And also it's tailored to integration of other smart contracts and DeFi applications. To sum it up, it's new, but it's also quite slow. So if you're interested in the DutchX, you can check out the protocol layer in our documentations. If you want to trade on it, you can go onto the seller platform, which is slow.trade, or you can participate as a bidder on fairdex.net. So as I said, it's a decentralized trading protocol, which means it's completely on-chain, and also there is no custodial of funds. But in order to get real decentralization and have it fully decentralized, there shouldn't be one single entity taking care of the decisions, what's happening on the DutchX. It should be rather done by the community. So the next step is to full decentralization is to turn it into a DAO. So the idea is to set up the dxDAO, which is going to govern over the DutchX. And before I go more into what the dxDAO is, I would shortly give an overview of what organizations are and what they had been over time. So in general, an organization is a group of people with a particular purpose, for example, a business or a government department. So we stopped at what is an organization and what they had been like when they started. And the first time you kind of could talk about organizations was around the 6th century when in the Romans they had the first forms of organizations, and even before the Maori tribe they also had some forms of organizations. And then in the medieval times you kind of had more set up organizations which had been the medieval guilds. They wanted to have their knowledge transferred. They wanted to also pass on the knowledge, and then also they served as for a resolution disputation, and are kind of the first form of organizations. Then I think it was around the 17th century, I can't remember it exactly, it should have been on the slides, there was another form of new organizations. They kind of had been the first mega corporations, and there had been also the first ones who had like a stakeholdership, so the people involved in this organization had also granted limited liability. And they also had been the first organization which could be traded on the stock market, and stakeholders got a paper certificate to prove their participation in it. I can't remember the name, but it was in the 19th centuries there. We had like a setup of ideals for organizations, and here they put down the ideas and rules an organization should have, and some of them had been that the membership should be open and voluntary, and that they should be governed by the members, and they should be independent, but also open to partnerships. And now we kind of come to today, and with blockchain technology we have like a new tool to enable organizations which are decentralized autonomous organizations. And with decentralized autonomous organizations we kind of can make governance more open and more equally and on a large scale. So we have slides back.
Your slides are back with not the perfect view, but still it should work. Yeah?
So just to summarize it again, so in the 17th century we had the Dutch East India Company, which was the first mega corporation. They had the first legal stakeholders, and they were listed on the stock exchange. And then we had the Rockdale principles of cooperatives. So now we can have this new form of governance through decentralized autonomous organizations. So basically they are a behavioral rule set for an association fully coded into smart contracts. Okay. And a DAO can be defined as a blockchain-based software tool which harness mechanism designed to enable alignment, decision-making, and coordination at scale for organizations. So why are DAO important? As I said in the last sentence, they enable decentralized coordination at large scale. So this is why we decided to have really a fully decentralized trading protocol. We decided to hand over the DutchX to the community and let it fully govern by the community itself. So we think the dxDAO is the next generation of decentralized autonomous organization for community governments of software protocols, and the dxDAO is built on the industry-leading DAO stacks governance framework. So if you're interested, how would you be able to participate in the dxDAO? First, you have to stake your vote and earn initial reputation, which will be the voting power within the DAO. So, as said, the DAO will be governed by reputation, and this reputation you can gain by participating in the vote staking period. And within, to get this, you either have to lock ETH, you have to lock other tokens, you can register your Magnolia tokens, which you receive when trading at in the DutchX, or bid at a gen auction. And here we can see a nice separation. So if you just lock whitelisted token on the DutchX, around 30% of the 1 million reputation which will be given out is generated here. If you lock ETH, there's going to be 8% of the 1 million reputation. 50% is going to be given to people who register their Magnolia addresses. And lastly, you can participate in a gen auction, which will give the DAO initial funding in order to start. So when is this all happening? It's happening quite soon. It was actually planned to start a few weeks ago. However, there was a bug found. So now we have a second security audit and a bug bounty. We had a first demo version on the mainnet, which was really successful. And then soon the vote staking period will start, probably mid-April or beginning of May. And then afterwards, Gnosis and DAO Stack, they will completely step back, and the whole DutchX is going to be governed by the community. So if you have any further questions, I would really recommend to join the Telegram channel or check out the forum. And if you want to know more about the voting staking period or participate in it, just go on dxDAO, DAO-Stack.io. And if you're interested in more what is Gnosis doing, just go on our website, follow us on Twitter, or go on our blog. Yeah, that was it. Thank you so much.